Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, I hope you are having a fantastic day and a great start to your weekend. My name is Teresa and I love all things makeup, beauty and skincare. So on the weekends I like to hang out with you guys and talk about the newest releases in that category. With a small caveat, I don't talk about all of the new releases simply because there's too many, but you guys are fantastic and you help me curate this. So massive thank you to everyone who DMs me, emails me, whatever, to let me know what I should be including in this week's episode. Your names are being displayed right now. There would be no episode without you. I so appreciate it. As always, a massive thank you to my YouTube community members. You're wonderful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me last weekend during our live. It was great fun. We just hung out. It was nothing amazing, nothing worth discussing, etc, etc. Anyways, we do have a few things to talk about, but as always, I'm going to remind you to hydrate and let's look at our little mug du jour. How cute! Look at this! It's a little dog. I got this in Tesco. It was like €3.50 and I absolutely love it. Somebody needs to take control of my debit card. I can't be around mugs because I will buy more of them. I obviously have this filled with tea. It's Lion's tea at the moment, so, you know, in case anyone is interested, but grab yourself your beverage, get some snacks, and we'll get straight on into it. So this is a sort of a continuation from what we were discussing last week. We had seen the outside of this palette. We knew generally what was happening, that there was something fairy tale-esque. This is Nomad Cosmetics and this is their Fairy Tale Europe palette. It's available right now for €66.95 and apparently it's not going to be limited edition. It's going to be around for at least 12 months. So they said that they will restock it. There's 6 versatile mattes, which is unusual. It's a strange sort of a combination. There's only a third of it as mattes. There's 8 Belle of the Ball shimmers, 1 duochrome and 3 magical multichromes. They also apparently have apple fruit extract in there, which is apparently going to help the skin look better. It's cruelty free and vegan, and it's also, by the way, talc free, which is quite cool, and they're 100% plastic free, and a certain percentage of this is going towards the UNESCO World Heritage Centre, which is quite cool. Here's the thing, I like a lot of the individual shades on this, like the green kind of minty shade, the blue, that sort of cerise pink, absolutely stunning. I think they're fabulous. Let's be real, and I'm going to be totally honest here, a bit confused about this colour story. The mattes, very wearable, very neutral, but then they don't correspond with the shimmers. Like, it's a bit confusing. I like a palette that has essentially a half and half of shimmers, half of like mattes, because you really need a good matte to kind of get at things. This I'm not sure of. I'm assuming they're looking for like a very like neutral, natural look and then little pops of colour. But there doesn't seem to be any major coherence. In some respects, each of the columns kind of has its own colour story. Like the pinks are with the pinks, the yellows are with the yellows. But then the mattes don't correspond to it and I'm a little bit confused. The other thing that I'll say is this feels, and maybe it's just me, a little bit like it's a nod towards Disney princesses without it being Disney princesses. Because like if you look at the yellow, it has a rose in it, and I don't know about you, maybe it's just me, but the first thing that I thought of was Belle from Beauty and the Beast and her yellow dress, because it corresponds pretty much exactly like that. And then even the minty green and the blue, there's a snowflake there. It's just making me think of Elsa from Frozen. And even the trident and the red there, well, it's making me think of Ariel's hair and like some of the shades around that. So I'm a little bit confused. I will say though, like the pumpkin thing there, if it was meant to be Cinderella has a blue dress, not a pink dress, so a little bit confusing. I like the individual shades in this, but as a whole, I don't understand this. Like, I don't get how this all coheres together. I totally respect the cover art. It looks beautiful. Apparently they had somebody design it and it's hand drawn, etc. I think that's gorgeous, absolutely stunning. But the color story is so disjointed that I don't really know how this would work. Like, maybe this is meant for people who are far more creative than me, in which case, fantastic, delighted for you. But I don't get it. And even when it's swatched, the shades, like I said, again, individually, beautiful, absolutely stunning, but I don't get it with the mattes. Do you know what I mean? Like, the mattes don't correspond to these at all. I appreciate the fact that they've got some multichromes, they've got some duochromes, etc. They've really been enhancing the types of formulas that they're including, and I don't think there's anything wrong with those, but this feels very, very disjointed. And don't get me wrong, I don't think you necessarily need to have a one and done palette. Like, I don't think you need that, but a lot of people like to have a one and done palette. They like that if they open that palette, that's what they can use to make a whole look. For me, I feel like that would be very difficult with this palette. Again, that's not something that would necessarily put me off, but just the color story, I personally don't get it. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, too many releases from Nomad. And I get that they're a travel company, well, like a travel makeup company, etc. So they have lots of inspiration. But it's also, maybe I'm just being a bit whatever here. And I love the brand. I think they're so great. Their formula has just really enhanced over the last while. They've put so much work into this, and I don't want to kind of downgrade that to any degree. But I feel like when your whole thing is also on traveling, we know the environmental impact of that, and then you're coming out with as many palettes as you are, it's just like, ooh, this is a lot. Again, I might just be reading too much into it. I'm going to say something here as well, and I'm probably going to sound a little bit mean, so please bear with me. If you showed me this color story and you took away, you know, the like packaging, etc., and you asked me who made this, I would say it was probably Colourpop. It looks very Colourpop-esque. And I think, again, just because there's a lot of this that looks like Disney to me, I don't know. It's not for me. I think there's too many releases. This is very disjointed. I can't figure out how it all coheres together. The mattes don't really make a huge amount of sense in this instance. Absolutely adore that they're talc free. I think that's brilliant. I'm loving that I'm seeing that more and more brands are coming out with that, even indie brands. It's fantastic to see. But just for me, I don't get this. And I saw a lot of people being like, oh my God, I love this. To which, delighted, that's amazing. You're probably way more creative than I am, because I'm just looking at this and I cannot, for love nor money, figure out what I would do with this. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm just not creative enough and I can't see their vision, but obviously not everything has to be made for me. That would be insane. But in this instance, it just doesn't tickle my pickle, and that is okay. We then have Pleasing by Harry Styles, and I remember talking about this brand when this came out first, and I was so kind of confused by what they came out with initially. It was like some nail polishes with some really odd packaging, you know? It was really strange. And he's priced his stuff pretty high, all things considered. These are their Big Lip and Cheek tints. On the packaging, it just says Big Lip, Big Lip. Which my friend Daniela was like, you can tell this is made by a man, and they just couldn't think of anything else to call it, like Big Lip. And I kind of agree. I kind of agree. It's a strange one. They're $28 each, which is pricey. And don't get me wrong, I get that everything is getting so expensive these days, but maybe it's just me, but I kind of don't get why a cheek tint and a lip tint is that expensive, particularly for such a new brand that I don't hear a lot about. Like, it hasn't got that hype. $28 is expensive. And here's the thing, if you wanted to get all three, they're $68. So obviously they're able to sell them for cheaper. Like, obviously, like, I mean, no business is a charity. They're going to want to make a profit. But when you see something like that, they're still making a profit off of that trio when they're a little over $22 each. Like, sell them for $22 each. Like, then you'd be more likely. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyways, there's three shades. There's Peachy Cheeked, which is a sheer. And I mean sheer, because there's not a lot of colour in these. Sheer pinkish nude colour. There's Quite Rosy, which is a sheer berry shade. And Apple Blush, which is a warm red hue. There's Beeswax, which helps to seal in moisture, so keep that in mind, it wouldn't be vegan. Coconut oil, which contains lauric acid, is known to have moisturizing and nourishing properties, while jojoba oil helps to form a protective barrier over dry or chapped lips to lock in moisture and leave them feeling soft and smooth. Big Lip and Cheek is formulated without gluten, nanomaterials, parabens, phthalates, sulfates, or formaldehyde, making it suitable for all skin types, and it's dermatologist tested too. The carton is FSC certified compostable, which I do appreciate. I think that's quite cool. Made with post-consumer material and is printed with soy and water-based inks. The aluminium tube and cap are at-home recyclable. And of course, they're just like, please clean it out before you recycle that, which is fair enough. These shades though, do you see what I mean when they're swatched? Like, they are sheer AF, to the point that on the deeper skinned model, you really can't see them very well. Like, even when I'm going through them, I don't see that much of a distinction as to how they look on the lips. They're fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of all I can think of. If I wanted like a lip and cheek tint, there's several other brands I'd go to first. And it's not like I can get pleasing very easily, which is, by the way, a very strange phrase to say. They're not available via like any big retailers, etc. And we have other brands that have done lip and cheek tints for years. Benefit is obviously the biggest one that I can think of. They've like literally, they started off their whole brand with a lip and cheek tint. That was the Bennett tint. So they've been doing it for years. Granted, it's not in that same formula, it's a liquid formula, but they did come out with some balms. So, and I think they might actually be a bit cheaper than this, which is in and of itself quite interesting. But we have like drugstore brands that can do the exact same thing. And to me, I just personally couldn't justify spending this much on something that is that sheer. And I guess there's been this whole thing of like clean girl aesthetic. I understand that, I appreciate it, it looks beautiful on some people. I personally like quite a minimal base, but I like blush. You know, if I'm going to wear blush, it's going to be there. If I'm going to wear lip, it's going to be there. I want you to know that it's there. And this feels a little bit more for people who are very young, you know, and no harm in that. You know, you've gorgeous skin, why not? Enjoy yourself, etc. But I'm 34, almost 35. My skin is a little bit problematic. I've got a few spots these days, but they are clearing up. So when I'm looking at things like this, I'm just like, I'm not really sure. Like, I want something that's going to cover stuff up and isn't going to show up my texture. I want to see this on more versatile skins. Do you know what I mean? I just think for that price point, I can't understand it. I genuinely can't. And like, even the stuff that they're citing of beeswax, jojoba oil, etc., that's not wildly expensive. It's not. So I don't know why there's that price tag. I'm assuming it's just because it's Harry Styles. And I can't get behind it. I don't understand it. Even his nail polishes were like so crazy expensive. And let's be real, I don't know about you, and it's not that I go into nail salons that often, but like I never saw any nail salons using them. Do you know? And to me, that's kind of telling. It's a strange brand. It's not for me. I personally don't get it. So obviously I won't be picking this one up. Then I know I don't talk about perfume that often, but I have become a little bit of a hoe for Kayali. I have quite a few of their fragrances, and I'm going to say something very contentious here. I think that Kayali is better than Huda Beauty. There, I said it. I would prefer to have Kayali stuff than Huda Beauty things because their fragrances are just so good and they last and last. My favourite one at the moment is probably the cotton candy one. I love smelling sugary, but I do constantly wander around being hungry, so it is what it is. They have a new fragrance. It's out on Cult Beauty, etc. at the moment. This is their Fleur Majesty Rose Royale 31 Eau de Parfum. So obviously an Eau de Parfum that has more of essential oils, etc. and the fragrances that are going to last quite a while. Now, I personally want to smell this. I try not to buy perfumes just on command, but I do like Kayali, so I'm looking forward to wandering into a Boots somewhere and having a little smell of this. The fragrance family is apparently florals, the scent type is warm florals, and the keynotes, this is what's really got me, pear, which I love the smell of, and I don't see in many things, royal rose and musk. I like the sound of this. I'm very, very interested about this. For 100 mils, they're really expensive. It's €120.91. For 50 mils, it's €89.27. And for 10 mils, it's €31.64. I will say I'm excited about this. And apparently, I like this. They say that the number 31, because they've called it like the 31, indicates the number of rounds of formulations it took to achieve the perfect juice, which I don't like the word juice, but I get it. I like this. I'm very excited about this. And Mona Katan is obviously the person who's behind Kayali. She's Huda Katan's sister. And she says, to bring this scent story to life, I chose the rose as the hero note, as it is often called the queen of flowers, and presents such a romantic facet to the fragrance. We layered in the sweet peach, pink peony and purple musk to create a sensual scent that lingers everywhere you go. I'm really excited about this. She also had her husband in some of the photographs of this, which was really cute. I don't know if anyone's watched Dubai Bling, but that is wild. It's really interesting. I think she came in season 2 or whatever. It was very strange. I'm going to reserve judgment on this. I do want to go in and smell this. I'm not going to buy this sight unseen, but I am for sure very, very interested in this. Like I said, I've got a few of their things. I thought I was going to like the pistachio more than I would, but when I smelt it, I was like, ain't for me, which is why I'm not going to go off and buy this sight unseen, because I'm learning things. But even like the actual like bottles, they're so cute, like they're so pretty. So yeah, this is definitely on my list to have a sniff of, but for the moment I'm going to wait. I'm not going to buy this without having smelt it. We then have Beauty Moon Cosmetics, and these are their Duochrome retractable eyeliners. They're going to be £6.50 each. They haven't announced when they're coming out with this yet, but this is vegan and cruelty free. Now here's the thing, you may have noticed, or you may know Beauty Moon Cosmetics. They've been around for a while, since 2022, and actually when they launched initially, they came out with some eyeliners that were duochrome, and this is a re-release but with a difference. Basically they've reformulated it, they've got sleeker packaging. The revamped formula is meant to have more pigment and a better payoff, which is quite interesting. And it's meant to be vegan, cruelty-free, waterproof and smudge-proof, and will stay put for up to 12 hours. For £6.50 each, I don't think you can necessarily complain. I'm looking forward to seeing what the swatches are for this. I really like duochrome things. Like, I personally prefer if these weren't retractable and were pairable, but to be fair, I haven't found a single duochrome liner on the market that isn't retractable. So it must be something in the formula around duochromes that they just can't be put into the pencil format, which is totally fine. I get it. I'm excited for this. I think £6.50, fantastic. And I said this about Beauty Moon, and a few people have also pointed this out, that they've been around for a while, but they've noticed that the formula has been enhancing across each release. And I really appreciate that. They're keeping their price point down, but it seems that with every iteration they're trying to kind of enhance where they're coming from. And I personally really, really appreciate that. So it's really nice to see them taking something that they had initially launched with and just coming back and revamping it, to which I can only say kudos, well done. I'm looking forward to seeing what the story is here. So, I mean, it's always nice to have something that's actually affordable. Well done. We then have the Inkey list, and I did select this myself to include because frankly it sounds like something I would be interested in, and I do like the Inkey list. I know it's not like sexy packaging, but you know what, it does the trick, so fuck it, I don't really care. This is the Exosome Hydro Glow Complex Serum. It's a breakthrough lightweight serum that boosts glow, which for somebody with dry skin I am here for, because I'm constantly trying to put something into my skin to make it look like I'm actually alive, because most of the time I look corpse-like and it's terrifying. This visibly increases firmness, which again, as an almost 35-year-old, I don't hate the sound of, and it reduces the look of fine lines and wrinkles for clinic-worthy skin rejuvenation. It's meant to be for normal, dry, combination and oily, so basically for everyone. I mean, I personally am a bit dubious whenever somebody says something like that. I'm like, okay, but this is the bit that I'm more interested in. It's formulated for skincare concerns including dryness, hey, dullness, yes, loss of firmness, yes, and elasticity. These are all things that I'm personally concerned with. Not that I have like loss of firmness or elasticity, because I'm using my LED light masks, etc. This is a serum, and these are some other things that I'm quite interested in. So there's a 1% Cica Exosome. It's a plant-derived exosome that helps to boost collagen production. So I'm kind of interested in that, and anything that has Cica in it I tend to quite enjoy. 1% Opetunia ficus indica flower extract that gently resurfaces for smoother, more radiant looking skin and tripeptide one, which visibly improves skin's firmness. So it's apparently vegan and cruelty free. They have this whole thing of like, oh, they've done tests now. I will say the test that they've looked at has very small sample sizes, like a 4-week clinical study of 26 people. You could barely, I don't know, you couldn't even do a parametric test there. You're going to be doing your non-parametric tests, and you're more likely for type 1 errors there. So I'm kind of like, in saying that though, I still want to give it a go. So they've shown this obviously then in relation to their Ectowin and their Exosome. So the Ectowin, it's a strengthening and supporting the barrier, and it deeply hydrates, versus the Exosome is apparently clinic worthy Exosome technology. It boosts glow and deeply hydrates and has a lightweight creamy texture, which I quite like the sound of. They've obviously shown it then in relation to hyaluronic acid, which a completely different thing. I'm interested. I am. And by the way, it's going to be $22. So it's not a bad one. It's available online from the 17th of March. So it's not available yet. I like the sound of this. Like I said, they don't do sexy packaging, but who fucking cares? If it's decent skincare, it's at a good price, why not? And I just find that generally they're pretty darn good. So yeah, I'm for this. I'm excited about this. I may end up grabbing it. Don't judge me. Another week, another NYX Cosmetics launch, and this time it's their Epic Ink waterproof liquid eyeliner, but it's glittery. And I gotta say, I kind of think it's quite interesting. So these new glitter ones are 6 denim inspired shades. So there's Tapered Twinkle, a shimmer teal blue eyeliner, Boot Cut Bling, a shimmer bubblegum pink eyeliner, Shimmer Stitch, a shimmer mauve purple eyeliner, Flashy Flare, a shimmer light grey eyeliner, Denim Dazzle, a shimmer deep navy eyeliner, and Graphite Glitz, a shimmer graphite black eyeliner. So sorry, I said it was glitter, but it's actually a shimmer. But in my mind, it looks glittery, and I'm very excited about this. They're obviously taking their Epic Ink waterproof liquid liner, which has gotten a lot of buzz. Like, people generally tend to like it. It's available right now, and it's $11 over on their website. So obviously by the time it gets here, it's going to be more expensive. But you know what? I don't hate it. I actually think this is kind of cool. I'm all for getting some colourful bits and pieces that are at an affordable price point. Do I love all of them? No. There's definitely shades that I like more than others, but I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's not a bad one. I'd love to know, were these swatches necessarily like one pass, or was this built up? Like, no shade, I'd just like to know. And obviously these are kind of things that you could pick up in a drugstore, things like Boots, Superdrug, etc. So you could go in and swatch them. I did want to talk about this though. I saw this over on their website and I found this so funny. They were like, love for Epic Ink. And this person, Sabrina Larica, on the December 2023 on Amazon said, I'd marry this eyeliner. Look, don't get me wrong, I know that the dating game is difficult these days, but don't settle for an eyeliner, you know? Granted, they may be more useful in some ways than some of the dating pool, but seriously. And I love that she went on to say, I work in construction, and I'm like, that may be your problem. You know, you're working in construction. The people that you're working with may not be the correct dating pool for you. Yeah, I wear it to work and it doesn't budge. What can't this eyeliner do? I mean, things that a human person could do, I'd imagine. I just thought that was the weirdest phrase to bring it of, like, I'd marry this eyeliner. Oh man, to be fair, like, life is hard these days. I do appreciate though that they've put this onto the eye and they do look absolutely gorgeous. Like, Tapered Twinkle, that's beautiful. I really like the shade of that. Like, if you told me that that was an Urban Decay liner, I'd be like, yeah, that looks about it. Like, it looks like the shade Deep End. I like that. Like, that shade Boot Cut Bling, it's not really my jam, but you know what? It's pretty. I think on the right skin tone, it could look stunning. Then the Shimmer Stitch, I feel like the model that they put this on, it doesn't really work for them, but I do appreciate that they've shown that. And again, there's no makeup retouching, etc. It would probably work a little bit better on fairer skin tones. And even Flashy Flare, that is really nice. That reminds me a little bit of Urban Decay's Midnight Cowboy, but like obviously not as glittery. So actually probably pairing the two of those together could be quite interesting. Like, I like the look of that. Can I just say though, it doesn't look on the eye the way that you think it would, because like it looks like it's silver and then on the eye it looks much more goldy. Really unusual, like did not expect that. And then even Denim Dazzle, I have to say, I think that's probably my favorite one. That one looks so impactful. I love that they've gone for some really nice impactful like graphic liner looks. They're really cool. And the graphite one also is kind of giving me old school Urban Decay, which I personally quite like. I'm liking actually their graphic liner looks. They are so cool. I want to steal a couple of these. I think they look really, really nice. $11, pretty darn good. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I like the sound of this, I have to say. I haven't actually tried their Epic Ink liner to date. Just I have a few like liners that I like already, so I just haven't bothered with them. But I am intrigued by this. I am. I want to go in, I want to swatch these, I want to see what the story is. NYX are, let's be real, pretty darn good for the price point, right? I don't love when they try to like dupe other things. Like, come on, you're good enough to do your own thing. And this is proof of it. You know, this is darn good. I like this. I'm excited about it. I may end up getting it. Do I think that this is going to be like the need of the year? Absolutely not. But I think they're coming out with this at the right time, because I'm seeing even, you know, there's affiliate like links, etc., like magic links and a shop my, and every so often they send out, because I'm attached to those like affiliate links down below, and they'll send out a thing kind of being like, oh my god, Coachella is coming up, make sure to talk about things for Coachella, which you don't know me, I'm not going to Coachella. But I feel like there'll be a lot of people talking about this in respect to Coachella, because it's kind of linking in with that pretty well. So they've come out with this at the right time, in my opinion. I don't think it's bad, and for the price point, I'm not going to complain. We then have Wayne Goss. This is a limited edition, first edition F1 angled cheek brush, and it's $65 over on Beautylish. Like, his stuff is always expensive. It is what it is. I will say I do have one face brush, like a foundation brush, and I do like it. It's not bad, but obviously you have to be very careful about the way that you wash them. You can't just use like an ISO clean on it. You have to like hand wash it. So it's a best-selling favourite, reimagined in an exclusive aesthetic, introducing Wayne Goss limited edition, the first edition F1 angled cheek brush. Experience the same expertly angled design that seamlessly blends creams and powders without harsh lines. Now with a beautiful ombre lilac to white handle. Basically, if you have this already, don't panic. They're just kind of coming out with it again with a new and interesting handle, essentially. Easy on the eyes, effortless to hold, and gentle on dry, sensitive skin. Can I just say I appreciate that they're showing this in the hand, because it looks so small. Or maybe this person has giant hands, but it's a very small little brush. So I would imagine it's gonna whack quite a bit of pigment on, you know. Can I find like longer handled things, you have a little bit more control in terms of blending, so that's quite interesting. It's made with uncut Psychoho goat hair, so the same as his earlier ones. Like, I have one of his goat hair brushes. It was wildly expensive, but I do like it. So, you know, it is what it is. Without any blunt edges for ultimate softness and a silk-like feel that doesn't tug or irritate skin. And yeah, the handle is carved from hornbeam or shide in Japanese, a hardwood known for its durability and sturdiness. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones that, you know, it's going to be for like collectors or people who are really into their makeup brushes. Now, I really like makeup brushes. I do. I'm not even going to pretend that I don't. But I have a lot of things. I do like the shape of that. I appreciate, I can see how that would be great for creams, etc. However, I have a few from Spectrum that I feel would work a little bit better, and just for the day-to-day maintenance are easier for me, because when you have goat hair, don't get me wrong, they're really, really good, but there's a specific upkeep on that. Like I said, you can't just kind of run it through ISO clean. You have to go and like wash it with, I like using the what you call it, Sigma bits on that. Like there's a Sigma soap and I like using that, but it does mean it's a little bit more high maintenance. Nothing wrong with that, but you need to know what you're signing up for. yeah, at $65, this is going to be for people who have a very, very refined collection when it comes to their brushes. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fantastic. I personally wouldn't say no if it turned up, but I'm not going to go off and get it because I don't need it. I'm learning. You know, like I said, I have some brushes that are kind of similar in terms of the shapes and they're kind of easier to maintain. So I'm going with those. But yeah, it just is what it is. You know, Wayne Goss, he does know what he's doing. Fair enough. I got this in an email the other day. Nobody's tagged me in it, but I need to talk about this because I'm absolutely fucking livid. Adept Cosmetics. Do you not know I have bills to pay? Do you not know I have a life to lead? I have taxes, I have insurance, I have all of these things. And then you come out with this. This is the emo palette. It's going to be €73.95. Look at it. You can't tell me this is not the sort of palette that I love. Look at those greens, look at those purples, look at those cool tonedness, deliciousness. My only hope is that they haven't shown swatches yet, and I'm really hoping that they're terrible. I'm hoping that the swatches are uninspired nonsense and it's just terrible. They've changed their packaging over the last while. I actually have their Minka palette, which I'm hoping to do for swatching Sundays this week because I'm a fool and I buy things that I don't need but I want. Basically, it's the same sort of packaging as Natasha Denona, so you can like pop out the pans and rearrange, which I just love. So it means it's easier if you have a couple of their palettes that you can reconstruct them. I am obsessed with this colour story, and the black and white on the outside and saying that it's emo, I can't emotionally cope. I'm very excited about this. Yes, it is expensive. It's €73.95. I hate myself, but I do want it. I do. Like those shades, I'm sorry. Pear, beautiful. Grable, which I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Absolutely gorgeous. MC1, dormant. I love these. Black and brown. Ooh, I do. I love these. God, I hope they swatch terribly. I hope they look awful. All I can think of, there's a song and it's I hope you're miserable until you're dead, and this is basically adhering to this, because how dare they come out with something that I am this excited about. God damn it. I need to stop doing this as a series because I just see things that I want and it's very upsetting for me. I like this. I don't need it. I need to look at the things that I have. I need Grable and Pear to stop making eye contact with me because that's really upsetting for me. They're all like, take me home, Teresa, take me home. No! Find your own home. God damn it. God damn it. I will say anything I have from Adept, I really enjoy. I hate that I enjoy it. It'd be so much easier if they made crap things. Makeup on Your Radar does have a code with them though. I think it's Radar 10, and I tend to use that anytime I'm buying from them because the lovely Jamie of Makeup on Your Radar gets a kickback from it, and then I'm like, oh, like I'm not buying it at all. Do you know what gets me though? It's the actual shipping cost. The shipping cost like makes my eyes water, but it hasn't stopped me either. That's terrible. That's terrible. That's so bad. I'm very upset. I want this, and I just, yeah, there's nothing else to say on that. In addition to that, they've also come out with these brushes, which are available right now. So the palette, we don't know when it's coming out, but the brushes, they're available right now. And there's quite a few of these. And this is, to the best of my knowledge, the first time that they're coming out with brushes. And I am so excited about these. These are vegan brushes. They're artisan vegan brushes made in Japan. If you know anything about brushes, when they're made in Japan, they're generally a little bit better. Like Wayne Goss's brush that I just talked about, that's Japanese. It's a whole thing. The handle and ferrule is made of 100% recycled resin, and the brush hairs are made from 100% recycled PBT fibres, which is why they're a little bit cheaper than the likes of Wayne Goss, but these are looking nice. We have a mixture of face brushes and eye brushes, and you can obviously bundle them, etc. But I'm going to talk about the face brushes first. So there's the P1 powder and bronzer brush for €26.95, the P2 face brush also €26.95, and the P3 face brush 2 is again €26.95. Gets a little bit more expensive now with the P4 buffing brush, which makes sense. You look at all the ferrules in that, that's €36.95. The P5 angled foundation brush is again €36.95. The P6 angled cream blush brush is €36.95. The SC1 angled cream brush 2 is €29.95, and the C1 small concealer brush, which is looking really nice, is €21.95. If you like all of those together, you can get the face brush bundle for €192.95, which does save you some amount, but it is expensive. I don't think you need all of the brushes, let's be 100% real, but there's definitely some some ones there that are quite interesting. You know me though, I love eye brushes, and there's quite a few here. There's the E20 large crease brush for €16.95, the E16 small crease brush for €16.95, the E60 blend crease brush for €16.95, the E18 diffused blend crease, again €16.95. Now this one I don't get why they have this. This is the ES10 shimmer sponge, €7.95. Frankly, I don't think they needed it. I wouldn't want it, but maybe that's just me. This is where I get excited. The E14 small fluffy brush, €16.95. The E8 small detailing brush, €10.95. The shape on that, I love it. I want it. It's perfection. Do I have things like this? Yes, I do. But shut up. I like what I like. The E6 small tapered detailer, €10.95. The E2 detail eye brush, €16.95. And the E62 small crease brush for €16.95. Again, if you want all of the eye brushes, you can get them for €101.95. But if you liked all of the brushes and went, Teresa, I want all of them, €243.95. So that's obviously your best deal. I don't want all of them. I want specific ones, essentially. Yeah, I think I'd be better off kind of buying them individually. And I'm going to be straight with you here, which is unusual because I'm not straight, but there you go. I may have already put some of those eye brushes into my basket in preparation for when the emo palette comes out so that I can get all of these together. I'm for sure excited about these. Now, obviously they've never done brushes before, so we'll see what the story is. They may be fantastic when I get them initially, but for me, the big test is how do they wash? How do they wear? What do they maintain like? Because I've gotten brushes before that they look fantastic, great, brilliant. And then I've washed them and they've splayed all over the place. And it doesn't matter if I put them into the little meshy bit, it doesn't come back together. So I need to see what the story is here. But they look nice. They do. They look luxe. I'm pretty impressed. I am. I'm looking forward to it. Like even the concealer brush looks really nice. Yeah, I could be convinced to get some of these essentially. I don't need all of them, but a few of them are definitely more my jam than others. And I think the price point is pretty good. Honestly, Adept are normally quite expensive. In my brain, they're very expensive. But this is not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. I think they could have gotten rid of some of them, like that shimmer sponge brush. Get rid of that. We don't need it. I don't know why we have that. Could we, like, there's something about that is just making me think of, you know, Chanel and Dior, and they do their little eyeshadow palettes, which are really expensive, and then they put their little sponge applicator in. That's what it's making me think of. I don't understand it. I don't want it. But there you go. I've been talking quite a bit about K-beauty, C-beauty, etc. And I think every week now I'm finding something that is quite interesting to me. This is Leemember. I talked about them before. They had some really cool lip stuff. This is their Dreamcore Bare collection, right? And they have multi-use highlighters. There's 6 shades. They're €17.95 each, and you get 6 grams of it. You have MH00 flip phone, MH01 CCD, MH02 MP3, MH03 TV, MH04 desktop computer, and MH05 Walkman. By the way, those prices are taken from C-Beauty Mall. You can use my code Teresa to get you 5% off, whatever. The single eyeshadow, there's 7 shades. They're €15.95 each. There's 1.8 grams. There's M001 Retro DV, M002 Universal Charger, M003 Electronic Pet, M004 Handheld Game Console, M005 Dial-Up Internet, M006 Landline Phone Call, and M007 Electronic Dictionary. Right, this is where I'm going to be an absolutely terrible affiliate, because I also looked these up on Look Healthy store and they're much cheaper over there. So if you do like these, I would recommend going over there, because over on Look Healthy store you can get the eyeshadows for €10.10 rather than €15.95, and you can get the highlighters for €12.85 rather than €17.95. I'm a terrible affiliate, but I don't want you spending money unnecessarily is all I'm saying. Can we talk, yes we can, about the eyeshadows first? Oh my goodness, they're so cute. Like even even the little imprints of the Tamagotchis. Like, I'm a 90s baby and I grew up in the 2000s, so I'm just looking at these and it's bringing back memories, and even the shades that they've chosen are just core 2000s. And the way they've shown them on the eye is very like sweeped across, which I personally really like, but you can build them up to full intensity and they're absolutely stunning. Like, I really like these. Even in the swatches, you can see over on the left hand side it's just a quick swipe, and then over on the right hand side it's built up to full intensity. The shades that they've shown here are just peak 2000s. I think they're absolutely stunning. The price point is fantastic. I have absolutely no notes for them. I appreciate obviously that you can get these as singles. You obviously don't have to get all of them, that would be bananas, but they're so cute. They're so cute. Do I think that they needed every single shade? No, I think there's a few that are kind of similar-ish to each other. Like M006 and M002 look kind of similar on the eye, but that's just me being very pedantic, you know? When you see them swatched, they're actually quite different. One is more warm and one is more cool toned. I think they're adorable. And the multi-use highlighter, I love that they're like, yeah, you can use it as a highlighter, but you can also use it on the eyes. Yes, I love a multi-use product, and let's be real, you can use highlighters on the eyes. We've all bought palettes before with highlighters that we knew we couldn't use on our face, that we tricked ourselves into getting, because we were like, I'll use this on my eyes, and then we didn't. But at least with this, because it's singular, you probably could. The actual case on this, so gorgeous, so cute. The shade names I'm living for: Flip Phone, Walkman, stop, MP3. Jesus, do you remember when we thought like iPods were going to be the thing? Wasn't there was like a Sony version as well. What was that called? It was like the Zen? Was it the Zen? Oh my god, Jesus, really bringing me back. The shades of those, again, they have them kind of swiped over on the left hand side very subtly, so you could see they could be an absolutely gorgeous highlighter on, but then they've built them up to full opacity and they would be beautiful on the eye as well. These are absolutely gorgeous. I can't fault them. I think they're fabulous. The price point is brilliant. Like I said, they're those highlighters on Look Healthy. So again, terrible affiliate, but they're cheaper over on Look Healthy. You can get those for €12.85. Find me a highlighter that you can get for €12.85 and get 6 grams off. That's beautiful. That is so gorgeous, and I love that you can even see that they're quite sheer, so they probably won't give you too much of a cast. Now, I'd have preferred, obviously, seeing these on a greater variety of skin tones to make a better and more informed decision on this. But unfortunately, you tend to see that with C and K Beauty. They tend to just swatch it on the one skin tone and they're like, here, enjoy. Make your own inferences on this. But I think it's beautiful and I like this. Just the whole aesthetic of this is so fun. And I think also I'm looking at this and it just reminds me of one of my best friends, Daniela. This is so her. It's like it came from her brain. The tones are her. The whole 2000s vibe, it's her. The little bear stuff, it's her. So I think as well when I'm looking at this, I feel a little bit sentimental because it reminds me of her, and when things remind me of people, I kind of get a bit weird and I'm like, oh my god, it's so cute, I love it. I know in my heart of hearts that I don't need this. I know it. There's very little in my life that I need at this point, but I think it's very cute. I think the price point is fantastic, so you know what? I'm here for it. We then have Fenty Beauty, and I mean, what can I even say here? This is the Gloss Bomb Heat Universal Lip Luminizer and Plumper, and I did see a video by Dochi earlier in the week and she was like, guys, we need to talk about lip plumpers because how much of this is just like allergic reactions and chemical reactions to like burns and stuff. Like, what even are lip plumpers at this point? To which I'm like, yeah, I agree. Look, I get it. These are Fenty Beauty's best selling products, but oh my god, I'm so sick of them. Could we get a new product, please? She just basically has a new shade of this, and I don't know how to say this nicely, but I don't care. This is Lavender Savage, and it's €27. It's cruelty free. You get 0.3 ounces, and it apparently has a light peach scent, which I will say her products do have an absolutely gorgeous scent. They're fabulous, and there's, you know, all of these different things: ginger root oil, capsicum fruit extract, which is the pepper, which is what is going to give you the burny feeling. That's going to be the plumping bit. there's nothing about this that makes me kind of go, yeah, I want this. Like, it's not, I don't get it. I don't. I talked about NYX earlier, and NYX have a lot of lip plumpers, etc. in their line right now, and they're much more interesting to me and at a fraction of the cost. I also just don't like lip plumpers that much. I don't want to do that to myself. I'm old, I'm tired, I don't want to be in pain. A lot of me is already always in pain anyway. So actually maybe the distraction from the pain in my knees to pain in my lips might be good for me. I don't know. I just, it feels so different. Like Fenty were so cool when they came out initially, and now it just feels like a lot of repeat stuff that is unnecessary. And I just sit here kind of going, who was asking for this? Was there somebody literally kind of going, I want this? In which case, fair enough. I'm sure there'll be people who absolutely love this. But for me, I don't get it. And I also feel like a lot of Fenty releases of late have just not been great. Like her blushes, etc. were not inclusive, which was wild to me considering the way that they initially launched the brand. So I just don't get it. I find it a bit disappointing overall, but yeah, it just isn't for me, and that's okay. Pat McGrath were hinting that they were coming out with something new, and obviously they were blurring the outside of the palette, being like, oh, it's another Mothership, and everyone was kind of going, okay, great, pinks, neutrals, etc. No, it looks like we have a slightly different colour story from them. This is the Petalmorphosis, the Mothership 12, if you can believe it. 12! So 12 of these. Here's the thing, I don't hate it. I actually like this. There's individual shades here that I think are super, super cute. And she hasn't given any sort of swatches yet, so obviously I'm going to reserve judgment here. But Pat McGrath has got me in the past where they're the kind of ones that you want to swatch yourself and see them in store. And you know what? She does some nice shades. Like, those are very transformational. There's a lot of those that have like slurry formulas, etc. I'm intrigued. I am, and I know it's going to cost an absolute bomb, and I don't need it. I know that. But this is a slightly more interesting colour story. Like, even over on the left-hand side, that little quad, that's beautiful. I'd wear that. I think that's stunning. Again, do I need it? Absolutely not. But I'm ridiculous, and I buy things that I don't need. I'm glad that we're seeing a slightly different Mothership colour story from her, because we just have been seeing a lot of the same, and there is like some pinky tones in there, but it's not as like pink as we normally would have seen. So this does feel a little bit different from her, and you know what, I'm going to applaud that. Well done. I'd love the price to come down, but well done, you know. The other thing I'm going to say is this is coming very soon off of your Candy Crush cash grab, which, look, all collections are cash grabs, you know, but that was a lazy one. Yeah, like the fact that it was all repeat stuff that we've seen before, whatever, okay? You didn't need to do that and do this so soon after each other. When you're such an expensive brand, I personally think you shouldn't be coming out with this many releases. I also think that most brands shouldn't be doing that many releases. I think we, as a society, probably need to calm down. And I say this as a materialistic bitch. I love stuff. I do. I'm a fucking smaug with all of my eyeshadow. I'm like, I realise I'm such a hypocrite sitting here being like, oh my god, we need to like stop having so much stuff. I realise I'm also part of the problem, but I'm actively trying to be less num with things. But I need brands like this to kind of slow down. This, she could have waited. She could have waited, or she could have not done the Candy Crush. You know? Do you know what I mean? It's strange. I do like it though. I don't hate it. Am I going to run off and buy this? No. No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Because they don't really go anywhere. They're not really limited edition. I'm going to wait and I'm going to see, can I get codes to get money off? Because I'll be fucked if I pay full price on this. Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. That is insane to me. But you know, this next one, it's a bit of a sneak peek. We don't have a lot of information on this, but I'm excited. I'm gonna say this, I'm excited. This is Urban Decay. This was spotted in stores, so should we call it Natasha Denona where it's leaked? Who knows? But this is their 24/7 Glaze-On shadow. It's a glazed liquid eyeshadow. Now, Urban Decay had liquid eyeshadows before. They were their moon dust ones. They were okay. They weren't amazing, but this feels a little bit more true to the original Urban Decay. And I mean like original Urban Decay back. Do you remember when they had little men in their things? Like little men. It was so cool. Like even the shades here, it just feels old school. I personally am excited about this. Even the packaging is kind of bringing me back. It'll probably be wildly expensive and unnecessary, but I don't hate it. However, will I get this? I don't think I will. And the reason why I won't is I've gotten so into C Beauty, K Beauty, etc. And you know what? A lot of the liquid shadows that they have, 1,000 times more interesting on a fraction of the cost. Do you know what I mean? Like Girl Cult have a few ones that I've had my beady eye on, and they're in a basket waiting. For what? I don't know. Like, why do I think I'm going to have a sudden like influx of cash? I'm not. I'm not. So I need to just whatever. I also know realistically that I don't tend to use many liquid shadows. However, when I do use them, I tend to use them as like a liquid liner. So I don't hate this. I like the direction that this is going, and it does feel like we're getting back to Urban Decay's roots, which I've been saying for years we need to have. And I don't hate that. I'm excited about it. The very last thing that I'm going to talk about is something contentious. And you know what? I feel like a lot of you aren't going to agree with me because there's a lot of vitriol towards Mikayla Nogueira online. It just seems to be that people take a person and kind of go, right, I don't like you. And yes, there's some things that she's done that I personally don't agree with. I don't watch her stuff. She's not my sort of jam. But you know what? It's easier to tear somebody down than it is to build somebody up. And I don't want to be the person that tears somebody else down, right? That is not interesting to me. She has a dream. She's going to go off and do her own thing. Why not? Why not? Right? There's also a lot of misinformation on this, right? This is point of view by Mikayla Nogueira, and there's been some misinformation saying that she stole the name from a Canadian indie brand. But here's the thing, she trademarked it back March last year, and that was before that indie brand even existed. So that indie brand did not do their due diligence. They should have trademarked. Unfortunately, that's just the way things are. You should trademark your stuff. Like we've seen that time and time again. So and I think people are very quick to kind of pile on for her on these things. Like I said, she's not my thing, but I don't want to dog into somebody. I think particularly as a woman, we need to build up other women rather than tearing them down. And there's a lot of people who have done much worse things that still have a platform, quite frankly. So there you go. It's going to include skincare. And she's done a whole video kind of going like, yeah, you don't need your old skincare anymore, which is grand. Quite funny considering obviously she's done so many affiliated ads kind of going, oh, this helped me with my acne. No, this helped me with my acne. Which honestly, fair enough, whatever way you feel about her, she's a very good salesperson, right? She hustles, she does her own thing, and fair enough. This is all going to be available March 26th. So the skincare includes Amp It, which is an amplifying lip ampoule, Drench It, which is a soothing priming milk, Drip It, a nourishing glow serum, Whip It, a hydrating whipped cream, and Glaze It, a glazy tack primer. I'm potentially interested in this. I'm reserving judgment because I haven't seen what the story is in terms of ingredients list. She also has gone off and liked a lot of comments saying that they're hoping it's going to be affordable. So you know what? If it's affordable, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying that I'm excited about it, but it could be actually quite good. And again, I actually think she's very talented. I think she's very good. She does beautiful makeup. I personally don't think she needs the filters that she pops on, but she's very, very good with makeup. And if this is an appropriate price point, if the ingredients are good, then why not? Why not? You know, like, fair enough. She's a businesswoman. She's doing her own thing. Let's maybe not tear her down. Let's reserve judgment. If you want to hate on her when you see the ingredients and say this is not an appropriate price, then fair enough. Yeah. But I don't want to be mean, you know? Like, I don't want to tear somebody down unnecessarily. I can only imagine she gets so much hate online, and I just, you know, if you don't like somebody, fair enough. Like, let it be. We don't need to be whatever about it. In the grand scheme of things, yes, she's done some not so great things, but nowhere near as bad as some other people who still have a platform. And if you know, you know, quite frankly. I think there's a lot of sexism that occurs. You know, women are held to a much higher standard. You know, people are looking to cancel her because of, yeah, arguably some things that she shouldn't have done. But then there's other people who have done actual criminal stuff and they're fine. Ugh, whatever. Anyways, I'm reserving judgment. I'm not saying that I'm going to run off and get it, but I just don't want to be part of dogpiling onto somebody for doing their own thing. You know? Feel free to disagree with me. I'm sure there's a few people who'll be like, no, I don't like her. Totally fair. Totally fair. Totally fair. But I also don't think we need to be unnecessarily mean about these things. Rant over. And on that note, yes, releases and rants is done, but I do have my favourite comment here, and this is from Pages1262, and part of why I love this comment is, yes, I absolutely love makeup. I tend to get a bit obsessed with it, but I don't know everything about it. And what I love about the community that we have over here is there are people who are also passionate about makeup, and they're so willing to share their knowledge and their understanding. So Pages said, Elson is for Karen Elson, the model from the 90s. This is, by the way, in terms of the Pat McGrath Candy Crush collab. She said, this is a colour already in the PMG collection from the early days. I'm pretty sure this is Taylor Swift's signature red lipstick. So it's a re-promoted shade. I think both of them are. So then you'd be paying for the licensing for an older game app that has nothing to do with Pat McGrath or her work, and candy cane barber pole weirdness packaging for re-promoted colours, which does not feel like artistry, just cynicism. My guess, some VC executive who bought into the brand made a stupid deal because they could and forced this people will pay anything if we slap the PMG name on it. BS though. I don't want to say don't encourage them, but Teresa, don't encourage them. This is what I'm saying. I absolutely love that you guys know so much about these things. Like, I learn so much from you guys as well, and although I don't necessarily get to comment back to every comment, I do read them all, and I so appreciate it. I appreciate the time that you put into this. I appreciate you sharing your knowledge, your information, your opinions. Like, it's incredible to me. Like, I love learning, I love knowledge, and I love when people sit down and share what they know with me. It is so appreciated. So thank you so much. As I said, I do have a swatching Sundays. I haven't filmed it yet. Naughty, naughty. But my plan is to have the Adept Cosmetics Minka palette. Look at it. It's a sexy little baby. So if you're interested in seeing what this palette looks like, you know, the general drill, swatched across a couple of different kind of lighting conditions, etc., that should be up tomorrow. I'll be doing that. Good luck editing, Teresa. But my gorgeous friends, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell because it's polite, and do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case just wrap it up. Don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.